Before this video begins, I would just like to publicly state that this is for a general audience. This can be enjoyed by children and adults alike. Children under the age of 13 can enjoy this video for the Thomas & Friends brand itself. Teens and adults can also enjoy this video for its production value and nostalgia.
Thank you, Mainland Studios. There's 2, there's 4, there's 6 and 8. Shunting, rolling stock, and hauling freight. Red, green, yellow, orange, purple, brown, blue. They're the really useful crew. That's who. All with different roles to play around Tidmouth sheds and far away. Down Gordon's Hill and around some bends, we got Thomas and his friends.
Okay, to be truthful, I didn't know how to properly start this episode, so I'm just gonna jump straight to the point. Donald was having a little conversation with some rolling stock at Knapford.
So I have a question for you lads. Why do you cause trouble to us?
Why does anyone do anything? Sheer absolute boredom.
But you don't realise that your actions have consequences. What will it take for you to understand?
You should be showing your strong, tough side, like me.
Didius Diesel.
I did that once with the brake van, but times have changed.
Fine. Pick out what you pick.
Just think about it.
Those boys ain't right. Around noon, Fred Pelhay, Rickety, and ULP were still in their sidings when Rebecca arrived with a goods train. But as she pulled into Knapford, a certain rolling stock has caught the truck's attention, especially the fact that it had a distinct logo and some rotten wood.
Rusty frames.
No, it's not possible.
Hey, fellas. Long time no see.
S.C.Ruffey.
Yeah, go ahead and girl scream.
But we thought you were gone after Oliver ripped you.
Shh, I don't think you should remind him.
Meh, I'm not bothered by it too much nowadays.
So how's life?
Well, I figured it's time to settle a score with that oily.
Score with Oliver, eh? Mind if we tag along?
You're welcome to join me. Now here's the plan.
Then around 3:42, their plan was set into action. Rickety had told Henry that there were some trucks that needed to be shunted, when really it was meant to be Oliver's train.
Okay, as long as there's no deception.
Then part 2 occurred. Murdoch pulled in, and then Fred Pelhay told Murdoch that he needed to shunt some trucks on his side of the yard. Not really a shunter, but fine if you insist. And so, the plan was set into action. What's going on? Oh, I know!
No mayhem!
Oh, I don't like this.
Get a move on! Oliver's no use at all. He thinks he's very clever. He says that he can manage us. That's the best joke ever. When he orders us about with the greatest folly, we will squeeze his boiler out. Crush Guzzled Holler.
Tell me, Willie, how does it feel to have a taste of your own medicine?
Oh, my buffers! Crunch gozzle dolly! Oh, crepe. Poor Oliver felt really bad in the wreckage. While Sir Topham Hatt scolded at Murdoch and Henry, Oliver was pulled out of the wreckage with both his front and rear buffer beams completely damaged.
It's okay, Oliver. It doesn't look too bad. Let's take you to the steamworks.
Later that evening, the trucks were having a celebration.
Well, with all out of the picture, what's next for you?
I've got some overdue business with others. Willie was just the tip of the iceberg.
So, how was life really for the past 5 decades?
Well, so then, fellas, this is a long one.
And so, Scruffy told them about his past life. It all started around the early 1970s, during the time after he got rebuilt at Callan Yard. The rest of the trucks were really surprised about hearing his stories. How does it feel being ripped in half? Now, Scruffy didn't really want to talk about it. Eventually, his story about being ripped in half has died down later in the 70s. But then, in the 80s, Scruffy's private owner has sadly passed away. But with him out of the picture, he was a free truck. He was no longer owned by Titmuth, so he was needed for a goods train. He thought he could start a new life, but his worries were far from over. Oi, look at that! That's the truck that got ripped in half by Oliver! Later on in the 90s, he was sent to the coaling mines. He was having a great time until one day, Percy has caused a little bit of trouble. And then, disaster has struck. Later on, Scruffy emerged from the mine with a nasty scarred eye. That's when he decided to move to the clay pits. Although the company there was a little unpleasant, especially with the twins involved. Their constant fighting, their constant bickering. He had suffered dreadfully from their presence. But over the many months and years, no matter where he was at, people seemed to have forgotten about him. He was just on every part of the train, portraying as like a regular truck. It felt like no one seemed to bother his existence whatsoever.
That's actually very upsetting.
Oh, yes. But in time we came to realize that some folks deserve all the care, the rest of us get nothing but abandonment, taunted, criticized, hated. The loneliness kept me going for all these decades with my burning thirst for revenge, and together we will have an unbeatable chance.